Hey everybody, thanks for watching The Great Green Room. My name is Julia. Today we're going to be looking at Adrian Simcox Does Not Have a Horse, written by Marcy, Campbell, and illustrated by Corinna, Luyken. Adrian Simcox Does Not Have a Horse is a story about a girl who goes to school with a boy named Adrian Simcox, who is always off in his own little world, and she does not like him because he's always telling lies. He's always telling other kids that he has this horse, this beautiful horse, that he rides everywhere and can take care of in the country, but of course she doesn't believe it at all. Adrian Simcox lives in the city. He can't possibly be taking care of a horse when his house is so small and his yard is so small, and she complains to her mother about what a liar this kid is. And there are other things that she doesn't really like about Adrian Simcox. His desk is so messy all the time, and it just drives her crazy that he would always be going on and on about this horse. So one day, when he's talking to some little kids about it, she yells, "He's lying! Adrian Simcox does not have a horse!" And Adrian is really hurt by it. So when she tells her mother about this later, her mother says, "All right, smarty pants, we're going to go for a walk." So she takes her for a walk in a neighborhood they've never been to before. It's not a nice neighborhood. It's kind of run down. And when they turn the corner, they see Adrian Simcox in his house. It's this tiny little house where he lives with his grandfather, with this tiny, not even barely there yard. And she starts to feel pretty bad. And she knows that he doesn't have a horse, and she wants to say it, but she remembers what it was like to hurt his feelings so badly back on the playground, so she doesn't say it. And so she says to him instead, "Is your horse at a farm?" So Adrian starts describing this horse to her, and of course now she understands that it's all just pretend, that he has this incredible imagination, and she can almost start to see this horse of his the more she talks to him. So there's a lot of talk about what is empathy and how to teach your kids empathy, and some people think that kids have natural empathy. And other people say that kids are naturally cruel. And I don't think either one of those things are correct. In my experience, what kids like most of all, more than anything else in the entire world, is to be right. They want to be right. They don't care if they're being nice. They don't care if they're being mean. They want to be right. They will argue to the death about who is right. And in this case, the girl, who is not named throughout the story, is sure she's right that Adrian Simcox does not have a horse. And in the end, she learns a lesson both about being compassionate towards Adrian Simcox and what he does and does not have, but also learns in a way that he does kind of have a horse, and she was sort of wrong and he was sort of right. It's just that he's thinking about it in a way that she wasn't. And she realizes in the end that that does have value and makes room in her life for that way of looking at things, the way that he sees things. And she sees that maybe, no, he doesn't actually have a horse that he sits on and rides around, but that having a big imagination is also valuable, and being 100% logical and right about everything all the time is not really the most important thing. And I really like the way that this book frames that. It's not at all preachy, and it speaks to kids to where they are. Kids want to be right about everything. And this is just done really, really well. It never makes the girl out to be a villain, and it never makes the boy, Adrian Simcox, out to be like this poor, victimized, little kid. It just explains things how they are and tells a story that almost accidentally has a lesson. And it's done with these just absolutely gorgeous illustrations that I love. So I definitely am a big fan of Adrian Simcox Does Not Have a Horse. I'm going to give this book a 4. If you see it at the library, definitely check it out. You may want to add it to your collection yourself. As always, I want to hear about books that you've read, that you liked, that you didn't like. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.